Welcome into Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee, the show that looks at your communities through the pages of your local newspapers. I'm Scott Stewart, publisher of the Pulaski Citizen, Lawrence County Advocate, and Main Street Maury, your local newspapers. Well, as we bid farewell to the Maury County Fair, the Middle Tennessee District Fair gets going this week in Lawrence County. Less is more for the folks in Pulaski, and on the Pulaski Square this weekend, Touch a Truck is back. So we got all that stuff coming up this week and a whole lot more. We'll get to those in our wrap. Make sure you don't miss a thing by getting a copy of your local newspaper sent to your mailbox each week. Here's how you do it. You can visit PulaskiCitizen.com, MainStreetMaury.com, or LawrenceCountyAdvocate.net. Or you could call any one of these numbers, 931-363-3544. 615-452-4940, 931-762-1726. Any of those websites, any of those phone numbers can get you a subscription to your local newspaper. Now, let's get our weekly wraps going this week with the Pulaski Citizen. The Pulaski Citizen wrap starts this week with our Citizen Spotlight, Rosie Kraft. Miss Everything, right over here across the street at Star Theater. And we've got a photo of Rosie at the top and center of the front page and an article about her inside this edition. As I said in our opening, we've got Touch a Truck returning to Pulaski Square this week. And Touch a Truck is an amazing event. If you hadn't seen a bunch of kids crawling on a bunch of big old machines, tractors and trucks and such, then you need to get on down to Pulaski Square and check that out this weekend. The Pulaski Board of Mayor and Aldermen has created the Property Maintenance Board. Find out what that means and what else they did at their city council meeting most recently in this week's edition right there on the front page. And you can also find out what to expect from next week's meeting. More star news as the huge support beam, otherwise known as the post over at Star Theater, that has obstructed the view of many a patron, is gone. They took it out, and we captured that momentous occasion, and it's right there on the front page. Also on the front page is an arrest has been made in connection with the rash of local church burglaries, and the new board members and mayor were sworn in up in Linville recently. Inside, it's Around the Square week, and we've got yet more star news for you in Around the Square, as well as spotlight businesses, what's going on around the Pulaski Square with our spotlight businesses. Giles County Special Olympics is set to benefit from the Charity Day at the Tidal Wave Auto Spa here in Pulaski. A local farm has been recognized as a Century Farm. Johnny Phelps takes a look at Linville then and now in Giles Pass, and Margaret Campbell shares a recipe for frogmore stew. Raise your hand if you knew what frogmore stew is. A lot of you do. I know it's otherwise known as a low country boil. So find out a recipe from Margaret on low country boil, which I'm from now on forever going to call frogmore stew. And meet Archie this week in the GCHA Pet Corner. As always, Pulaski Citizen has obituary notices, court docket, property transfers, government public notices, backward glances, funny games, church directory, community briefs, and church briefs. All of that and a ton more news, and then there's always sports. And, of course, here's Wade Neely with this week's sports.
Hey, folks, Wade Neely here, sports editor at the Pulaski Citizen. Time for a look at what's in print and what's online this week, September 18th edition of the Pulaski Citizen sports page. A lot of consternation, but we did finally get a cowbell game, and what a doozy it was as Giles County rallies in the second half and defeats rival Lawrence County in a rain-soaked affair last Thursday night over at the Brickyard. It was a fun contest. GCHS winning that one 29-25. Back and forth first half. Lawrence County had a lot of momentum, up 15 points. Midway through the second quarter, Giles County kind of down and out at that point, but they do rally and they do tie the game just before halftime. Lawrence County kicker Sarah Morrison, however, she makes a field goal just as time expires, and Lawrence County leads 25-22. Second half, the rain came down even heavier than it did in the first, and as a result, the scoring was limited. Giles County had the only points of the second half, but it was a big play as Xavier Randolph finds Kareem Bryant on a long pitch and catch, and a 72-yard screen pass ultimately decides the 24 cowbell game. It was a a wild, wild night. You can go back and listen to our call on the Main Street Preps Thursday Night Football Game of the Week coverage at mainstreetmediaradio.com. You can also go back and listen to the same broadcast if you have our Mixler app by searching PCLGCHS. On the other side of the county, and on a different night, it was Richland defeating Fairview 21-17 as the Raiders stunned the 3A Yellow Jackets. Richland's first win versus their old region rival since all the way back in the year 2000. So a good win for the Raiders as they come back late to do it, trailing 17-14 as Nash Petty takes the kickoff nearly to the house, but they're in prime position to score. And not just score, but they ran about 2 minutes off the clock, and Fairview had less than a minute to work with by the time they took back over, and Richland wins it once again, 21-17. So Richland's offense continuing to put up big numbers. They're now 3-1. They're 1-0 in the region. They'll get a chance for another victory Friday night when they take on rival Cornersville as the Raiders offense continues to fly higher and higher. And what a win it was in their home opener last week. On the other end of the spectrum, south end of Giles County, tipping on into Alabama, Ardmore's offense could not get things going in a battle of unbeaten teams, falling to Fairview. 28-6 was your final Friday night at Cooper Field. It was a rainy soaked affair, and fumbles were aplenty. If you were into ball security, you came to the wrong game as the teams combined for 6 fumbles. And Ardmore could not cash in on their chances in the red zone, and they again fall to Fairview 28-6. So the Tigers bounce back hopefully Friday, but they got to go to Russellville, another one of their key region rivals, and that'll be a big matchup coming your way on Friday. As always, we got words from our good friend, Mr. Larry Woody. Make sure you check out Larry if you're into catfishing. He's got you covered this week. That's all I'm going to say about that. And that will put a cap on this week's edition. All our middle school games, a little bit of a wash as teams kind of move back and forth trying to get things sorted out. All that means is we've got a lot to come in this week's edition as games will get made up and broadcasts will come your way on Pulaski Citizen Live. Wade Neely signing out. That's a look at what's in print and online for the September 18th edition of the Pulaski Citizen Sports Page.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated cost plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Having a good, confident smile and being able to portray that positivity to others is really helpful.
A professional family atmosphere is what we get every time we come here.
Our hygienists do a better job at kind of assessing mouths and coming up with plans than most dentists do.
They're very kind and they're very aware of other people.
I think if there's things that I would want you to leave here with, I want you to feel like you were heard, that we listened to you, and I want you to feel like that your concerns were addressed.
Bluegrass Auction Associates is hosting another estate auction in White House, Tennessee on Saturday, July 20th at 10 a.m. Join Bluegrass as they sell the Judy Matthews Honeycutt Estate, conveniently located in the scenic Orchard Park subdivision. This beautiful estate includes both real estate and personal property, so everything must go. Everything will be sold on-site and in person, and a 10% buyer's premium is added to the final bid. So bid with confidence with Bluegrass Auction Associates, committed to excellence.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Main Street Murray Wrap this week starts with a feature on the Culleoka Performing Arts team and its trip to Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum. Also on page 1, Columbia commemorated 9/11. The Maury County Fair finished up recently, and we've got the article and photos telling you all about it, letting you see what happened in the sights and sounds, well, not the sounds in the newspaper, but the sights of the Maury County Fair. The front page also brings us the sad news of the death of a pastor and former county mayor candidate here in Maury County. Finally, on page A1, Columbia's Municipal Planning Commission approved a Wawa chain gas station and convenience store at the corner of Napa Valley Way and Nashville Highway. Inside, Andrew Pearson has a feature on the Swanky Southern Nights benefit for Grace House. A fugitive has been apprehended and faces homicide charges. 5 Maury County agencies have received National Highway Traffic Safety grants. Mount Pleasant's planning a bicentennial tour, home tour. A Maury County firefighter suffered minor injuries battling a basement fire last week. 5 local students have been named semifinalists for the National Merit Scholarship. The City of Columbia has announced the 2024-25 Mayor's Youth Council. And the Spring Hills Planning Commission has discussed a proposed development for a grocery store that has yet to be officially named. And as always, Main Street Maury has local obituaries, local government notices, local community announcements, church directory, puzzles and comics, and weather from Tennessee Valley Weather. And Piggly Wiggly at Neely Mill Shop has its mega meat sale going on this week. Plan ahead by getting a copy of your local newspaper, Main Street Maury. And the only place that you're going to find those deals is Main Street Maury before you get there. So head on down to the Pig, but make sure you get your newspaper first. That's Main Street Maury this week, everybody. Except, well, don't let me forget about sports. And here's Maurice to tell us all about it.
Hey, I'm Main Street Maury sports editor Maurice Patton. This week's print edition of Main Street Maury, the September 18th edition, includes coverage of Week 4's high school football action, including Mount Pleasant staying unbeaten with a 15-7 defensive win over Harpeth. And when we say defensive, Evan Plunkett's 30-yard fumble return, his scoop and score, was the only score in the second half, and it was enough to get the Tigers past visiting Harpeth, keeping them unbeaten both in region play at 2-0 and overall at 4-0. So big win for Mount Pleasant on Friday night. And oddly enough, they were the only county team to come out with the dub as Columbia Central fell 34-24 over at Shelbyville. Columbia Academy fell 42-20 at Huntingdon. Spring Hill went on the road and dropped a 49-14 decision down at Lincoln County. Also, both Summit and Independence dropped decisions on the road. I'm sorry, Independence was at home. They lost 35-14 to Franklin in a Region 6-6A matchup. Summit went over to Blackman, gave up 28 points in the second quarter and fell 35-0. We've got coverage of all of that in this week's print edition of Main Street Maury. We've also got a coaching change, following up on a coaching change down at Summit, as girls basketball coach Hal Merle explained the thought process behind his resignation after one season at the top of the Lady Spartans program. Congratulations to Columbia Academy junior Gunnar Skelton, who recently announced that he will be a Vandy boy, committed to a baseball scholarship with Vanderbilt, the 2-time national championship program out of the Southeastern Conference. Again, we spoke with him and we've got coverage of that development. There's some middle school scores and schedules in this week's print edition. Mostradamus gives you his week 5 predictions. It's hard to believe we are at the halfway point of the football season, but here we sit. Also, coverage of the 2024 Columbia Central Athletic Hall of Fame induction class in the print edition of Main Street Maury. So be sure and check that out. And we've got a picture page from the 12th annual KD's Hope volleyball tournament that took place this weekend over at Columbia Central. 6 teams participating in that, which is a fundraiser for the KD's Hope Foundation in honor of Kim Duff, a cancer survivor for the past 12 years. So again, we've got some pictures from that as well. So a lot in this week's print edition of Main Street Maury. Online at mainstreetmaury.com, we will have, again, Mostradamus. We will have Week 5 high school football coverage and more. So be sure and check out the website, mainstreetmaury.com, and next week's print edition of Main Street Maury. Again, I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor of Main Street Maury, and we will see y'all soon.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Bluegrass Auction Associates is hosting another estate auction in White House, Tennessee on Saturday, July 20th at 10 a.m. Join Bluegrass as they sell the Judy Matthews Honeycutt Estate, conveniently located in the scenic Orchard Park subdivision. This beautiful estate includes both real estate and personal property, so everything must go. Everything will be sold on-site and in person, and a 10% buyer's premium is added to the final bid. So bid with confidence with Bluegrass Auction Associates, committed to excellence.
They have always met wildest expectations as far as taking care of my teeth and my health. You know, teeth health is very important now to your heart. And I told him one day, I said, I'd love to have nice teeth and nice hair. And he said, well, I can take care of the teeth, but I can't take care of the hair. And I said, you can make my teeth? He said, yeah. I said, well, let's go for it. And he did. And I have been tremendously pleased. Dr. Hart, if you need him at night, he's here. This staff here will take care of you 24/7. You don't have to worry about, I can't get a hold of my dentist, my tooth's hurting. No, they will be here for you. And if I could get Dr. Hart to take that same artistry that he has and grow hair, then he would be double rich.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Welcome to Nashville Super Speedway.
That's right, guitars and fast cars right here in Music City. This summer, NASCAR is back at the Nashville Super Speedway. Get your tickets now to watch your favorite driver take on the 1.33 miles of concrete chaos. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to lock in your spot June 28th through the 30th for the Ally 400 race weekend.
The Lawrence County Advocate Wrap starts this week with an article from Sandy Mashburn about the investigations in Lawrence and surrounding counties into school threats that came following the recent school shooting down in Georgia. A school board seat has been added to the November 5th ballot. There was plenty of damage, but no injuries from a house fire in Etheridge last week, and the Lawrence County Fire and Rescue units were kept busy last week with wind-driven grass fires. Inside, we've got the article that I told you about from Main Street Maury last week. It's about 96-year-old Vivian Sims, who was my elementary school art teacher, and the project that she pushed and funded much of to highlight the U.S. colored troops who were stationed in Pulaski as they joined the fight for their freedom. It's a great story about Miss Sims and that effort that she pushed through and the whole group community that came together for the monument that we have here in Pulaski. Also inside, Disabled American Veterans constructed a handicap ramp to help veterans with easier access to VFW David Crockett Post 1618. State Senator Paige Wiley received an honor from the Forestry Association, and State Representative Clay Doggett received an award from the Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police. Lawrence County Senior Citizen Center is offering a vaccine clinic October the 3rd. The Noah's Ark Widows Ministry is celebrating its 14th year. The West End Club has been getting ready for the fair this week. The Etheridge Elementary's presentation of Pirates, the musical, is tomorrow evening. That's right, Thursday. And we've got some photos of them getting ready for it. And we've got a feature this week from the Lawrence County Historical Society on the history of Lawrence County law enforcement. There's a great article and some really cool photos that go along with it. Got a whole page of it in this week's Lawrence County Advocate. And as always, Lawrence County Advocate has community announcements, government notices, auctions, estate sales, local forecasts from Tennessee Valley Weather, and your local church directory. In sports, we had all 3 football teams playing last week, but not a one of them played on Friday night. Lawrence County and Giles County renewed the cowbell game last Thursday over here in Pulaski, and the Bobcats topped the Wildcats in a thriller. It was a really great ball game. One Lawrence County team remains undefeated as well over the weekend, and it's the Summertown Eagles. They visited Loretto Saturday night and came out with a win, 4-0 with the Summertown Eagles, as they've got Mount Pleasant headed to Summertown this week. All 3 teams are back in action this week, and for now, all 3 are scheduled to play on Friday night. In volleyball, we've got news from a Lawrence County match with Columbia, and Summertown took on Spring Hill. If you're keeping up with our Fearless Forecasters contest, Wade Neely jumped into the solo lead this week, and with contest sponsor Daniel Haney jumping into second, he kind of leapfrogged Exports Network's AJ Good for that second spot. But AJ is also tied with fellow Exports announcer Hayden Burks. Those 2 guys are tied. And then Ben Wright of Title and Escrow of Lawrence County brings up the rear, but it's still way too early. Everybody can make all kinds of some moves at this point in the contest. Now, don't forget, this week's grand prize is $400. If you pick them all perfect, you can win $400 in the Lawrence County Advocate football contest. So get your copy, fill it in, make sure you get those entries in by 4:30 on Friday and get your chance to win either $25 every week, or if you pick them all right any week, you got the opportunity to win the grand prize, which is $400 this week. Well, that's it from the Lawrence County Advocate Wrap this week. We'll be right back right after this.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather on Main Street.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Kelly Rawson in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. For today, we just have the smallest rain shower chance for this afternoon, a 10% chance at that. Some of us will see a little bit thicker cloud cover the more east you are in southern middle Tennessee, closer to Interstate 65, but some of you folks out west are going to see a mostly sunny sky for the rest of the day, as some tropical remnants are just skirting our area. Temperatures should be in the mid 80s for this afternoon. Again, just the smallest chance for a sprinkle for this afternoon and early evening. Overnight will be dry with a mostly clear night. Temperatures for tomorrow starting off in the upper 60s to lower 70s, eventually getting up into the upper 80s by your Thursday. Can't rule out a stray shower Thursday as well, but these chances, I'm telling you, they are minimal at best. For your Friday, we are dry, temperatures in the upper 80s, and we should stay in the upper 80s for the next several days. Heading into the weekend, we are looking dry, maybe a little bit of humidity, but honestly not too bad and quite bearable for this time of year.
Hey, that's it for Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. Make sure to get a copy of your local newspaper online or traditional newspaper so that you don't miss a minute of all the local coverage that we've got lined up for you as we continue into fall. For more information on subscribing to any of our local newspapers, visit mainstreetmediatn.com. That's mainstreetmediatn.com. Again, thank you for trusting us as your source for local news, events, and sports. And good Lord willing, we'll be right back here next week with Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee.